Hey there, folks. Thanks a lot for joining me. I thought it would be good if I shared my little project here in my backyard. A couple of years ago, I started this project by taking down a 70s, 80s era, I think, Sears and Roebuck rusty shed that was over there, kind of where the bathroom is going to be in this project. And when it was green and rusty and looked terrible, but nothing a little elbow grease and a wire brush and paint won't fix. So there it is down there, and I didn't like the fact that I didn't mind the rust and the ugliness. It was easily to repurpose by putting on a brick pedestal, but I did kind of not enjoy the two rattlesnakes I discovered underneath, both very much alive. Thankfully, it was a cold time of the year. It was like Christmas, New Year's time of the year, and they were moving a bit slow. Probably would have been very, very dangerous if it would have been in the summer when I pulled up the flooring in that Sears and Roebuck shed. But anyway, no problem. I had a burn pit going that day, and those snakes got barbecued. This shed right here is up on a brick pedestal, as you can see. I've got a door that's about I think 140 or so years old, 150 years old maybe. It is a 9-foot door. I repurposed from a friend of mine had it, wasn't doing anything with it, so got it from him. And then I put that decal on the door, so that's now my tool shed. And this is now the new shed that's replacing it. The size is like, on the exterior, this dimension coming here is 24, plus this porch is about another 9 or 10, so let's say 33, 34 feet. And then across this way, the exterior dimensions about 24 feet. I've got it all drawn up in CAD, and that's how I've been doing my work, is I just draw it CAD and try to build to it. The inside is block CMU. It's grouted about 25%. So where you see those dots, where you see my doggy Andros, he's looking at, he's right in front of the dots right now. Those are all grouted full. Altogether, I've grouted about 25% of the CMU blocks. And then on the outside, I've got bricks that are covering, and I made these decorative stones. A couple years ago, my wife asked for a vegetable garden, flower garden type thing. So I built that for her, and to match a previous project's existing concrete caps that are white. You see at the top of the wall, there's what I call concrete caps that are white color. I used white cement to make white concrete, and then I matched that style on the vegetable garden, flower garden here. And I had some leftover white. I just didn't want to throw it away, so I thought, since that was in the early days of designing this building, I thought it would be cool to not let this cement go to waste, and the white cement to go to waste, because it is a little more expensive than gray cement. So I made these decorative stones. And they are, voila, right here. Pretty, with a stamp. And then I had some charcoal colored, called True Teak, that goes into the lower recesses of the concrete. And then I put, a sealer on it. And I've got those around the belt. So the belt meaning transition from the first floor to the second floor. So this is the first floor ceiling right here. I've got some floor joists going in. I went pretty extreme with the design of the floor joists. They are a specific floor joist designation as nominated by the Steel Joist Institute, that carry around 700 to 800 pounds per linear foot. So you can see these joists that are spanning this 24-foot width or span, and there's 3 that are full span. And then here in the bathroom, they're shorter because they're propped up by the bathroom wall. And that's like, I guess, the east side there. So they're sitting on that bathroom wall. So I didn't need to go quite so deep. 24-inch is the depth, and that's needed for the load carrying of the Steel Joist Institute's loading charts. And then, yeah, so that's how I arrived at that. Probably for the next floor ceiling, I won't do 24 inches joist because I don't need that much load. But this was, under the thought of, okay, let's say the property stays within the family, my kids get it, and they put a bunch of heavy stuff right in the middle, and that'll be plenty of load for that. Will hold up over, even dynamic loads or fish tanks or whatever they want to put up here. So this room, the second story room here is going to be a game room. So maybe pool table, certainly pinball machines. No, that's not in doubt. So yeah, that's the plan. And then, you know, I did get, before I stopped to work on enclosing the garage, I did get up to this first floor ceiling level, and the stairs are going to come up right here. Like the flight of the stairs is going to start down there by the scaffolding, and then it's going to come up and turn right here and go this way. And then the landing is going to be approximately where that bathroom wall is. So yeah, I've got plenty of room to, you know, make a nice wide stairways, and I'll be working on that the next couple weeks. I'll do, I'm sure, a video or two of that. But yeah, I just want to do a quick overview of what I have. As far as weight goes, I have, I think, about 80 to 100 tons of concrete in so far, and that does not include the grout. So the grout's about another 10, and the grout is concrete, by the way. You can see it there. It is grouted shut on this horizontal. I did do a couple horizontal bond beams, as they're called, on the way up. Below the windows is a horizontal bond beam. You can see the windows down there. And then above the windows also another horizontal bond beam, and then a final horizontal bond beam right here. And it is steel enforced with rebar. I've got my joist seats right there tying together. I'll have more joist connects to this, what this is, the south wall right there. There's going to connect, you know, at the top, maybe the bottom, definitely the bottom also, but I doubt if I'll put diagonals. It's already pretty overkill as it is. I mean, these joists webs are in some cases 1.5 inches. So these are all really heavy joists. Really extreme overkill for what's necessary, but you know, it's my backyard, it's my project. I can overkill it and make it, you know, good for the next millennia if I want to. And this is the porch right here. This extends over their first story porch, the ground story porch, and that is, I've got some, you can't really see it because I still have a lot of scaffolding in the way. This scaffolding here, these boards will be cleared out really soon, and this will remain for the construction of the next floor. But that scaffolding right there against the wall, I'm going to tear that down, and all these boards, because they're not going to be necessary, because I'll be able to just work off the flooring. The flooring I'm going to put in steel, and then I'll cover it with engineered wood or laminate or tile or whatever seems best. And yeah, so this will conclude this part 1 of this project video. And by the way, this is the enclosure I just finished. So I did leave this project in April to enclose the garage. You can see it down there. It was a carport, now it's enclosed. Beautiful project. Really enjoyed that, and working with my daughters and Paulino and others. And then yeah, today's plan is to finish up the porch joists. I've got, you know, some cross members going here. I'm making this kind of like a box frame concept, and I've done a little bit of rough FEA, no hardcore FEA with really fine mesh node resolution and things like that, just to get a basic of my peak stresses for Von Mises. And this is extreme overkill for what's necessary. The loads that this structure will experience are going to be significantly under the factor of safety for the yield stress of these materials, namely the low carbon steel. I'm talking about, you know, like your standard 836, 572 grade 50 type low carbon steel. So after that, after today, I'll finish this these cross members for these joists here. Gonna scuff the rust a little bit and prime with, you know, your Rust-Oleum primer, and then finish coat black. And then I'm going to do the cross members here, meaning, you know, coming from this chair, like, look at that chair, focus. Yeah, right, that chair right there. I'm going to go across there, and then the same thing, do a roll stabilizer, I think it's called, across there. I'm not probably going to do diagonals. I may do a few diagonals like I have done here, but not many. I mean, it's already pretty overdone as it is. And then, yeah, make the, you know, the tie-ins here to have supports for the decking. The decking is going to be steel. It's going to be 12 gauge. The reason it's 12 gauge is mainly driven by the welding. I am using E6013 AWS classifications, AWS 5.1 if you want to know the AWS classification. It's a good overall general purpose. Doesn't penetrate too much. Penetrates enough, but not too much. Easier for a home hobbyist like myself to use than like a 7018, which has low hydrogen considerations because of the minerals used in the coating, or the more penetrating 6010, 6011, kind of like a pipeline route or just overall pipeline type of welding electrode. Those are great, but they are a little bit too rough for 12 gauge steel. 14 gauge is a little bit too thin for this. 14 gauge is around 2 millimeters, whereas 12 gauge is around 2.5 millimeters. And that extra 0.5 millimeter really makes it easy to use this electrode, because the tendency to melt through or burn through doesn't happen so much with the 6013, because the minerals and the way the gases evolved and the physics and the kinetics of the welding arc there. So yeah, point is, I'm going to finish up the supports for the decking, which will be 12 gauge, which is roughly 2.5 millimeters. And then I'll put the decking on, and then we'll continue with the masonry, which is going to be really fun, really amazing. Going to put the stairs in soon and continue on. I am at elevation right now, about 12.5, maybe 12.75 feet. And then for the next floor, same thing. And the reason I'm getting up 25, 26 feet is the tree line. Now, these are live oak trees. They grow slow. I mean, this tree right here could be 200, 300 years old, but the canopy doesn't raise very quickly. So the idea is to get to the top here and put solar panels. Well, those are up to 700 watts or more per panel, you know, the 52 by whatever the large standard size solar panels. Well, with that much power, my goodness, I can offset perhaps on sunny days the power to my home, which now with that expanded garage port, or the carport, excuse me, converted into a garage or another room, let's say, you know, our house is like 3,000 square feet total, and then this will be another 400 per floor roughly, and then so another 3,800. Well, that's a lot of space to cool, to AC or whatever, and having those solar panels at the very top will offset that, perhaps entirely or much of it, we'll see. But being at least at the canopy of the tree line, both to my west here, to the south, and to the east, will allow, you know, me to not have to compete with the tree line for sun hours, and I can get hopefully the maximum amount of sun hours being up at that elevation height. So that's kind of the design point of the height of the building, and that thought existed from the beginning. You know, my darling bride was like, "Why so tall?" Well, you know, that's why. I don't want the trees to outgrow and shade me out as the years go on. Live oak trees grow very slow. They're the most awesome trees I think ever. They have very, very beautiful, beautiful evergreen leaves that they only drop in like April in the spring, as opposed to, you know, the traditional drop in the fall, grow buds in the spring. So yeah, that's my project. That's my building. I'll have you with me on various parts, maybe one to whatever, from here to the end of the project. Thanks for joining me, and thanks for tuning in, staying along, and tracking my progress for this awesome, awesome project. Take care.